Hi, it's me again with Corel tips and tricks. Somebody posted this on Facebook and wants to convert it to an SVG. When people post, I would like to know what you're doing with it. Are you engraving it, you're printing it, or what you're doing? I've kind of played around with it. I didn't spend a lot of time on his braids. So we're just going to take this thing's pretty small, so I'm going to make a duplicate of it and move it out of the way. I always have a duplicate. I'm going to go to Trace Bitmap, Outline Trace Clip Art. And it's already done, and I'm gonna say okay. And then I'm going to nudge it over. But I want my original pretty nearby it. I moved my original, but I don't have to worry about it. Matter of fact, for a second, I'm gonna move it back out of the way because I wanna get rid of some of this blue. So I'm gonna go to Arrange and Group and Ungroup, and I'm gonna get rid of some of this inner part that are blue that should be either transparent. And I'm not going to do all of them because we can cut some of them black. But there are some parts in here, like his eye is all going to be black. I'm just trying to get the transparent part out. This is where it would help to know what the person's doing with it. So if you ever ask a question, tell people what you're doing with it. And we'll just go ahead and delete some of these blue. I'm going to have to fix that, so that's fine. Now, if you notice, it's kind of right here. It's intermingled with the W. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to nudge that out of the way. I'm going to nudge that out of the way. All that trash I don't want. So I'm going to take the W and nudge it down, but it got part of the Indian's headdress. But we can fix that. So now I'm going to go left click. Got to select something, select it, left click, right click, and we just need to stop this W from going in his headdress. So all we have to do really is right here is we can just use a 2-point line to go across here. And let's see if we can't just take the virtual segment delete key and delete that. So now I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool and I'm going to fill that in, and I'm not going to nudge it up because I'm going to actually nudge it over. I don't care if the outline is gone or not now. Now I'm going to take the bigger parts of the blue and I'm going to nudge them down. And it doesn't matter if I get some of the lighter blue or darker blue because I need them all. We're going to make them all black anyway. That's where it would help. There's garbage, hit delete. So if you ever see a bunch of nodes and there's nothing there, so I'm going to call all this garbage, so I'm just going to delete it all. And that's going to be garbage there. And then doesn't look like much right now, but if we take all this and make it black and then bring in the other side. Now you could do a lot of cleaning up. I'm actually going to delete that for right now. Let's see what happens when I weld it together. Okay, it worked good. Now what I can do is take my smoothing tool, set on pretty little, and I'm just going to smooth this out. Not a lot. And there's probably a couple of parts we could fix that I deleted some light blue. It really looks pretty good. And then this would be the time that I would add to his braid. And matter of fact, see, like right there, let's take the shape tool. Let's zoom in here. And we could do this as a hairline. Then we could take this black and fill that in. Now, we're going to weld it here in a second anyway. But then take this, grab those two nodes, bring his headdress down. Now that's going to interfere with the W, but that's kind of what we want. Make it a little elongated, make it not perfect. So now let's weld this together again. Well, it took away that little spot, but we can always, well, that might even be beneficial. This is something I created, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill it in and take away the outline. It should not matter. You know what? Let's try this. Let's try shift selecting both of them. Nope. So it's not going to let me do it. The best way to do it is left click, right click, and just get rid of this box. And then that's probably what I should have done at the beginning. That looks pretty good. Okay, now we need to work on the W. And because I'm going to group that together, because I nudged the whole time, I can nudge this back. But I need to take it all the way over here. And that's because that's why I nudged. Now I'm just going to redo this W. Pretty easy. I'm just going to take 2-point line. The only thing you need to consider is that you want your nodes to join. Don't worry about right now about interfering with the headdress or the ponytails or pigtails, and don't worry too much about. Worry more about selecting your nodes and getting them connected. Because now we can move that over and just kind of look at it. You can see we're lopsided. And so we're going to bring in an indexing line and put it on one of those points. And I didn't take a lot of time, so we're going to take that node and just have it snap up. Those are pretty good. Let's actually bring an indexing line to the center. So really my W is pretty centered, but we need to, and it just looks funny. Let's take this node right here and let's move it over. Move this one down, and actually move this one over, and I'm going to call that good. Now let's bring in our headdress, or Indian. And you can see the parts that we're kind of interfering with. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the Smart Fill tool. I'm going to pick another color, and I'm going to fill in the Smart Fill. And then I'm going to left click, right click, and I need an outline around that. So I'm going to go to Effects and Contour. I'm going to contour the inside. I'm going to say 0.02 with rounded corners. That might be a little bit much. Let's go 0.01. That looks a little better. Now what I can do, instead of worrying about stuff, I'm just going to take the Smart Fill tool and see I'm a little bit too much in that corner for that W. I think his braid is just too long. So let's back up here. Let's change that braid and make it not quite as big. Okay, if you remember, I grouped it together, so I got to ungroup it. That's where it's going to help with the W in place. And let's just make it not quite as prevalent. Well, I've got a line underneath there, which is fine. I'm just going to select everything and delete that line and kind of start over. That's where I could have deleted my Smart Fill. But let's just call that good. So now take my Smart Fill tool and fill that in. I'm going to left click, right click, and go ahead and do the same. You know, right now we could actually do a little bit bigger, but we're going to be good with that. Let's go ahead and change it to black. And what this is going to do, it's going to give us an outline. I'm going to take away the outline of the W. So that gives us this part between the W and his head. Now I'm going to go ahead and group this together. And I'm going to nudge it over. Now we need to make these rectangles. They're actually 4-sided pentagons. Set it on 4 sides. Not holding down your control button and kind of make that shape. Now let's bring it into our artwork. And at this time, we need to go ahead and range and convert it to a curve because it'll be a lot. Well, you know what? Let's back up there. Let's leave it a pentagon for a second And let's stretch this out. See, it's not equal. So convert it to a curve. Let's get rid of these nodes. And let's go up here, over here, over to there, and a little bit over there. Let me zoom in. Now, if you're doing this for real, you'd want to make that perfect. And then what I'm going to do, I had one node selected. I'm going to nudge that over, and I'm going to convert that line to 4 points, a little bit thicker. 8 points is too much. So remember that you can always type in 7 or 6. I'm actually going to go with 6. Now let's go ahead and turn it black. And let's put it back in our item. I'm a little bit bigger, but they can take their time. Now, with it selected, I'm going to Control D. Then I'm going to hold down the Shift key, and that'll help grow it in from the center. And folks, we're almost done. That looks pretty close. Now, if I would have taken a little bit of time and, you could still look at it and play with it. And sometimes it might be easier to nudge that out of the way if you're going to work on something else. It's grouped together, so you got to ungroup it. Got to select it first, Doug. Ungroup it. And then this is where you could do his eye a little bit better. Make it look real. Bring that in, bring that up. Kind of make it look more like an eye and just kind of, look at them side by side. This piece has like a little, see how fuzzy it is? It would never trace very good, but you could, change it up and make it look more like the original. And you could always add nodes and bring something down. But all in all, let me move these back. That's pretty close. Anyway, I hope it helped them a little bit. And then to save it as an SVG, I would export it and just export it and go down to SVG right there. I'm not going to save it because I don't need it. Anyway, I hope that helped them a little bit. And thank you for watching.